let's get into topic number 3. Now, of course, got to give credit where credit is due. This posting comes the way of Screen Time on X. And here are the Gears of War movie details, ladies and gentlemen. And it sounds very exciting. So, the director, or it's going to be directed by David Litch. Now, if you don't know who David Litch is, well, he's done a couple of movies that you may or may not have heard of. Let's say John Wick being one of them, Fall Guy, Bullet Train, Atomic Blonde, Violent Night, which was awesome, Nobody 2. He's worked on all 4 of the John Wick films. He directed Hobbs and Shaw, and he also directed Deadpool 2. I don't know. I think he's a class A director. I may even say A+ director. Every film there was freaking amazing. So I think the idea of getting someone that understands violence, and Gears of War is a violent game, this is the guy, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I forgot to mention, he did do Bullet Train. I didn't see that one. If anyone saw Bullet Train, throw one in the chat and let me know if it was good. I did not see that, but that's who's directing this. Okay, so let's get into what Screen Time had to say on who's writing the Gears of War film. Well, John Spathis, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Well, he wrote Dune 1 and 2. Those movies were bangers. So he also wrote the Minecraft movie. He wrote Doctor Strange, the first one. He also wrote Elite Suits, which I never saw. Ted 2023. The Mummy with Tom Cruise. He wrote Prometheus, The Darkest Hour, which was dope. That's one of Josie's favorite films. And he also wrote Passengers, which I don't think I saw either. So he has written several really, really big films. And of course, two that jump off Fuzzy are Dune 1 and 2, and he's writing Dune Messiah. Let's talk about Gears of War.
Man, oh man. Like, just the pedigree for both the writer as well as the director. I think right now that should solidify that it is going to be eye candy for those that want to see explosions, bullets, gore, like just out and out violence. So this is going to match what you would expect for a Gears of War show or movie. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. I know a lot of people have a negative view on Netflix as far as them being the place where it lands, but they're more so the pocketbook, I guess you could say. And they may not be as generous as Amazon, but they definitely tend to stay out of the way a lot of times. It's just they more so have movies that may not agree with everybody's take on, like reboots or refreshes on those. But that's more so a thing where they're pursuing, as opposed to with what Microsoft has been doing. And we've said this on the previous podcast. They've taken the time to, from what they've learned with the Halo series, which, season 2 definitely an improvement in many people's eyes. They've taken the criticism and had things adjusted accordingly. Like if you look at Fallout and how well that's been doing, where the source material is front and center without it having to be a reiteration of the actual story. Everything kind of fits in and can be canon without it, replicating the actual games themselves, but it feels like it's in that same universe and true to form. And I think this is going to be the case when it comes to the Gears of War show on Netflix. I think they'll, I think they know the fan base is going to be very vocal if they don't follow the actual lore of it. But I think they're going to want to, represent it in a way, especially now that you have Gears of War Reloaded coming to PlayStation or coming to more platforms. They're going to want people to understand why this game was so popular for 20 plus years on this platform, and a bit of the history or insight in what, draws everybody to the key characters. So I think in that sense, this is going to be like a love letter to Gears of War fans. I think these the talent that they're using to bring this to life is going to be, key to it. I don't know if Batista winds up being Marcus or not, but whether he is or not, I think they're going to follow what you can expect as a Gears of War fan to be in this show. But that pedigree for the cast, or as far as the writer and director, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see how this turns out, because Bullet Train, I love that movie. Just it was a mix of comedy and John Wickness
Now
kind
I
of
have to
thing.
watch
So
it. Everyone's saying it's a great film. How the hell did I miss that film?
but yeah, it kind of flew under the radar. I think I watched it like the week after it came out or premiered on Netflix, and I was like, oh, this is actually a lot better than what I was thinking it was going to be. But same thing with like looking at Dune 1 and 2. I think this is going to stay true to the lore. It's going to stay true to what you can expect for this type of game. But man, I love the fact that Microsoft is using more of their IPs. Sure, the Minecraft one might be a left field thing, but they've even learned from that as far as the popularity of some of their IPs. And even though that one may not, follow the game altogether, but they have it where they've done a great job of integrating some of the characters into some of the skins for Minecraft and such. And, going and having some of those inside jokes that people that play Minecraft a good bit have come to adore in that movie. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Easter eggs that they put in this show for Netflix and stuff. But man, oh man, this is a great time to be an Xbox gamer, and the fact that our IPs are now, on the big screen or outside of your console on a big or your big screen at home. I think this is a perfect IP for them to test the waters with some more, and hopefully deliver here, fairly soon. I don't know if this is going to be for next year or the year thereafter, but looking forward to it either way.
So I have some thoughts about the Gears of War film, and I know that in the story they specifically broke down that the Gears of War film that is being directed by David Litch is coming after the anime, the adult anime, the rated R anime, which is in production right now. I think that happens next year for the anime, and then of course the following year you can get the film. So here are my thoughts onto its importance. You made mention of the mistakes from Halo. Now, yes, season 2 was way better, but was it perfect? It was not. I think that, I get from a story perspective about trying to humanize Master Chief, right? But he is a Spartan with, he just does what he does. And I think that if the entire series of season 1 would have been that opening episode where they opened up just shooting the shit out of the Covenant, that's what we all wanted, right? And unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of it. We got Mr. Cheeks. We got a sex scene, which I didn't expect in Halo, but it was there. So be it. It is what it is. He got to get his groove on. I guess to kill more Covenant, whatever. That's fine. But I think the failings of the first 2 seasons and I'm not saying failings and I didn't enjoy it. Mrs. Boom and I watched both seasons, and season 1 was good. It was supposed to be great though. Season 2, way better, very good. And towards the end, it started hovering with the greatness. I hated the fact that he kept taking his helmet off. Like someone's gonna pop this guy in the head and he's done. That's it. Master Chief dead. I hated that. But whatever. I think the unenthusiastic fan review of it made them say, yeah, we got to take our time with this. We got to find the right director who is going to at least make the film like the game, right? Violent, pointed, with a story. Marcus Phoenix, Dom, we need to know Coltrane. We need to know about all of them. Where in the timeline, I don't know. Maybe it's an original tale, which I kind of hope it is. I don't want to see the game as a movie. We're playing the game. We don't need to see that. Give us a part of the timeline that we've never seen before. That's what I want. I think the success of Fallout really does set up how they wanted this film to be. And whether you guys and gals know or not, Netflix did pick up the Halo series. So they have Gears and they have Halo. I would imagine that the same tenacity to get a director and writer that understand the game. That was one of the things that I absolutely hated about the writing team from Halo. Well, we've never played the game. Well, you're fired. See, that's what if I'm Microsoft, I walk into, I think it was Paramount at the time, fire them. They've never played the game. What are we doing here? So that was the downfall immediately. But we can't change the past, folks. Halo season 1 and 2 happened, and you know something? There were a lot of actual normies that liked it. That's because they didn't understand Master Chief. Fine. If you enjoyed it and you're a normie, awesome. But that's not the kind of Halo I think we want. We want Master Chief, jumping out of in space, flying out of the airlock with a bomb to then kick onto a Covenant ship. That's what the kind of Master Chief that I want. But maybe one day. So I mean, again, look, I think that Xbox is positioning themselves in a way where an Xbox game is going to see. I always talked about transmedia being such an important part of gaming, right? And transmedia really is it's a wide stroke, folks, because you're talking about anime, you're talking about graphic novels, you're talking about comics, toys, models, right? Statues, which I have in front of me here. But you got TV, you got film, you got game. And Microsoft isn't going to buy WB to make their own stuff because WB is a shit show right now. I wouldn't get that for a quarter of the price because you're buying into some really poor leadership. And it's just a shit show over at WB. So they're working with partners. Obviously, Paramount wasn't the right partner. Netflix seems like it's going to be the right one. And just based on who's writing and who is directing the Gears film, it's going to hit like a ton of bricks. You got the anime, who I don't know who's doing it. And I don't know if it's an anime or is it just an animated series, but it's rated R. So it's going to be gory. It's going to be just what you would expect. And it's hitting at the right time because you got Gears of War Reloaded, which is being introduced to millions of PlayStation players that may or may not have played or even know what Gears of War is. Maybe they've heard about it, but because PlayStation is filled with normies, that's the majority of people that have PlayStation 5s. Yes, there is a subset of hardcore and even hardest of hardcore, but most people that have a PlayStation 5 right now are like the normies, man. That's the casual audience. And if they go and they play Gears of War, or they're a Netflix fan and they watch Gears of War, maybe they go and buy the game, right? Because this Gears of War, this is awesome, right? And so I think that the timing is perfect. You get the anime. A lot of people like animated stuff. Animated stuff sells. You got a $50 release, a remake of the original Gears of War that started the whole thing. And that's coming to PlayStation for the first time. A lot of OGs like me don't like it, but that's what the way the business is, then so be it. So if this game hits and the anime hits, and next year is Gears of War E-Day, which is really where it started. And then, of course, next year you get the anime, and then the following year you get the film. Buzzy, we're talking about franchise, right? Outside of just Xbox. And that's super important for Xbox. Not so much for me. Like the money that they make ain't filling my coffers, but at least the franchise that we thought was going to potentially die on the vine because we haven't had a Gears in a long time is coming back in a really big way.